This is hugh-sung for Music Meets Tech. Today I have the lovely Jacquelyn Familant, a soprano who is a graduate of the Curtis Institute of Music and now working and living in New York City. And I have to say, one of the things that really impressed me about working with you and talking to you about pursuing careers in music is your powerful sense of initiative. I've been talking with a couple of musicians recently, and it's been really impressing me about how critical it is for musicians to develop a unique sense of identity, but also of music and career initiative. And this is something that you seem to have in tremendous abundance. It's almost a given. As a friend of mine had said in an earlier interview, it's almost a given nowadays that musicians who are classically trained are going to play well, they're going to be well-trained, they're going to have all the necessary tools to present themselves as good musicians. But then what? And this is where I really wanted to spend some time to sit down and talk with you, kind of pick your brain about this. Because you are a phenomenal singer. You've had some tremendous experience in Germany. And you are now back in the United States and pursuing some wonderful activities. But again, I think the thing that characterizes a lot of your activities is your tremendous initiative to not only find unique opportunities musically, artistically, but even in terms of the ancillary publicity and getting an image out and helping others to do the same. So let's talk a little bit about your sense of initiative. Where does it come from? And what is your advice for other people to craft their artistic identity, to find opportunities? Let's talk a little bit along those lines.
Okay. I think that not only do you have to be, of course, it just is a given that you have to be a great, talented musician and be very committed to selling yourself. I think a lot of this is about salesmanship, and it sounds funny.
Yeah, and that seems to be the antithesis of our training. I mean, we're very much, especially in a conservatory training, we're very much in terms of the purity of our art and the focus of our musicianship, our artistry. Selling yourself, that sounds so crass.
Doesn't it sound crass? But that's exactly it. Because I think one has to realize the market that we live in, the environment that we live in, and we are a consumer-driven society now. And I think that, of course, art is going to exist, and there are going to be people that want to invest in it and want to be in it. But the fact of the matter is, if we're competing against the media today, we have to put ourselves up there in a way.
I wanted to break this down a little bit, because I think one of the things I've begun to really appreciate is the selling aspect is a lot more sophisticated than I think musicians generally appreciate. I mean, they just say, oh, you're just being a crass commercial, this or that. But selling, it really does involve a lot of careful analysis of who you are, what you are presenting, what is the perceived need, and how do you fill a specific or general niche. Can you speak to that? Because I think you do that. So you have a tremendous ear and eye for addressing these particular points, and particularly when you're consulting other musicians and helping them with their publicity.
I think each of us has a very unique statement to make. And I think if you can focus in on what makes you very individual, and you believe in that, you're passionate in that, then you're going to be able to sell that aspect.
How does that apply in the opera world? I mean, does that mean that you kind of hone yourself or identify the roles that you love the most, and you try to kind of fit yourself into those molds?
You certainly can do that. I've noticed more recently that it's about glamour and basically your entire package. That would be, say, for somebody like Anna Netrebko, who's a big star at a very young age at the Metropolitan Opera. She's a very beautiful, glamorous girl, so she has this gorgeous image to send out there. So she has that in addition to her talent, but that's something that's selling.
But kind of to counter that as well, and I know there are musicians who do not have perhaps the physical graces or talented with the looks, and yet they're able to find a different angle to present. If it's not their physical looks, there's a certain other
There's
qualities.
some kind of quality, exactly. Something that would really interest a particular audience member or the audience at large, I should say. They have something. They have a special quality. They call it charisma. It doesn't have to be gorgeous looks, in my opinion. It can just be something that it just is very palpable in their presentation. And so it is the job of the musician, or the artist, I should say, to identify that trait, which puts them ahead of the pack.